Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Tony. The founders would be astonished to learn that judicial appointments would be a major issue. In fact, many would think the major issue in federal elections. Alexander Hamilton predicted that the judicial branch would be the least dangerous branch of the federal government. And in Hamilton's world, that meant that judges would be the least dangerous to principles of self-government and liberty. Well, it hadn't actually worked out that way. The recent, painful, and all-consuming battle for the confirmation of Justice Brett Kavanaugh demonstrates both how contentious and how important judicial nominations have become in our country. What explains this disparity? Why are judges far more important and far more contentious than the founders would have ever predicted? Well, the short answer is that several decades ago, a new, unprecedented judicial philosophy developed. Its most common term is the living Constitution. This is a euphemism for allowing judges to change the meaning of the Constitution to conform to present cultural impulses. A person with the power to change the law is a legislator. Judges are not supposed to be legislators. Roe versus Wade was an act of legislation. The Supreme Court legalized abortion. They're not supposed to legalize anything. The Supreme Court legalized same-sex marriage. Again, that was an act of legislation. Judges are supposed to decide factual disputes between parties by applying the existing law, using it as it was originally meant. The opponents of freedom have figured out they cannot achieve the radical transformation of America through the normal political process of a constitutional republic. And so, they seek judges who believe in a living constitution to remake America in their image without an election intervening. Well, that's not the rule of law. That's not constitutionalism. That's not the spirit of America that the founders wanted to give us. That's why the fight for Brett Kavanaugh was so intense. We wanted a judge who would follow the original meaning of the Constitution. They wanted a judge who would act as a legislator to remake America. That's why the judiciary has become so important in every federal election. House members play an informal role in nominating federal judges for their states. Senators play a far more important role in suggesting nominees and confirming every federal judge. If you want the rule of law to prevail, you have to elect those who believe that judges should not make the law, but rather be judges. This has dramatically practical implications. I argued the case in the Supreme Court in March that required California required pro-life pregnancy centers to post an ad on their wall saying, if you want a free abortion, call this number. The original meaning of the First Amendment is clear. Government cannot force you to deliver a message you don't believe. We won that case 5-4. Should have been 9-0. The same principle applies to Jack Phillips' Masterpiece Cake Shop case, which our organization, ADF, Kristen Wagner, my vice president, argued that case in the Supreme Court. No one should be forced to use their artistic voice to deliver a message they do not believe. Free speech hangs in the balance every day on college campuses. We actually had to defend college students who were arrested for handing out a document on college campuses outside the so-called free speech zone. The document was the Constitution of the United States of America. That was a good case. I have news for college presidents. There's a free speech zone in this country. It's called the United States of America. We need to be like the men of Issachar. You now understand why the judiciary is a battlefront and so important. On Tuesday, I want you to be doers of the word and not hearers only. Get out and vote.